Alrighty, Commissioner, you are live. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining us. I will call the first Public Safety Committee meeting, February 24th, 2022 to order. It is now 2 p.m. We will introduce our voting members. I will start. I am Commissioner of the 3rd District and Chair of this committee, Tarenia Carthen.
Frederick Perry, Deputy County Administrator.
Mona Jackson Jones, the Chairman of the Board of Commissioners and the Vice Chair of the Public Safety Committee.
Roderick Jolivet, the best fire chief in the world. I'm sorry. Fire Chief, Douglas County. Glad to be here.
Jason Millen, Douglas County EMA Director.
Katrina Harley, Douglas County E911 Director.
Welcome, Ms. Harley.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And
Madam Chairman, may I say, apologize to your Vice Chair. I didn't see her on here. I didn't mean to jump line.
and so we are
Are
missing.
you okay?
We're missing one, Lieutenant Pounds, I believe. So that's the only one. That's the only voting member we're missing from this meeting. Okay, but we do have a quorum, so this committee meeting is official. Has everyone had a chance to look at the meeting minutes from February 2019? I think that was the last time that a Public Safety Committee meeting, I see you smiling, Jason, actually took place. So a lot has happened then. And so I just wanted to make sure everyone had a chance to look over those meeting minutes. And if you were there during that time, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes. If not, we can just do a consensus to adopt the minutes as presented.
I make a motion we accept the minutes. I think the only ones left are myself and Madam Chair. They were, but they appear to be accurate to me.
Yes, and I second. They are accurate.
Wonderful. So we have a motion and a second. If everybody could come off mute and just do a consensual yes, then I will accept the minutes as presented.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Mona Jackson Jones, yes.
Yes, Roger Jolivet.
So our next old business update was the entrance and exits of the courthouse. Since Lieutenant Pounds isn't here, I'm not sure if you, Jason Milholland, has any updates on that regarding
I basically said where they didn't change the security when they did all the building downstairs. This was during that time, and the concerns were about how employees were coming in and out. They were talking about different options, but that has since been handled, and everything over there seems to be. When I visit over there, seems to be working okay over there. But that was about that, and about the security, the employees coming into that one entrance over there, and everyone going through the metal detectors for the general public.
Got you. I think, yeah, you're right. Now it's second nature to us, and everybody that visits now understands the protocol, and those of us who work there understand the protocol as well. Correct, Director Perry?
Correct. Correct.
So we will go into our new business discussion. So since this is our first meeting, and we haven't had one since 2019, I thought I'd take executive privilege and allow for each of you to give us an overview of your department, where you are right now and what you see your immediate needs may be. This committee will meet quarterly. And so, because I know each of you have tons of work that you have to get done, and your work is extremely important to the safety of the citizens. And so I don't want to keep you in meetings. But what I would like is an overview of where you are and what your immediate needs are. And we will start with you, Ms. Harley. And again, welcome. We're so glad to have you as part of our public safety team.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I guess I'll start first with we had our official cutover to the Viper text to 911. We've always had text to 911 as an agency. However, it was internet based. With the Viper AT&T system, it just allows for that enhanced credibility and reliability that you don't often find in internet-based solutions. So that was successfully cut over. We shared the information to the public via social media, press release, and an article was posted in the Douglas County Sentinel this past weekend. The backup 911 location has also been updated as well. So both systems are functioning. We haven't had any issues, and so we're very pleased with that. We had our to address our staffing shortages. We had a panel interview today where my administrative team and supervisory team and an outside 911 agency were included in that panel. And so we have some strong candidates for positions with E911, which is a great thing. We're continuing to work on a dynamic national telecommunicator suite. That's the week that is designed throughout the country, just to say thank you to those E911 operators for what they do. This week is April 10th through the 16th, 2022. I established Leadership Tidbit Tuesdays as a weekly leadership mini training with my supervisory team. And I will be conducting leadership training with our supervisory team on February 28th. So I'm looking forward to that as well. We have an upcoming contract renewal of Carbine Sea Live Universe for Next Generation 911. We currently have Carbine, and what it does is it allows the 911 center to send a link out to our citizens when they call 911 if they don't know their location information. And the best way to describe it is it drops breadcrumbs for location so that the 911 operator can actually see a live video feed, of course, with the permission of the citizens so that we can help to locate them. And we just recently had a success story with Carbine this past weekend with a young lady that was missing. And last, we are providing more structure to the E911 center. And so the very first thing is we will be rolling out an attendance policy. And it just provides more structure so that we all know what the expectations are for the department. And so we'll be releasing that very soon here.
Awesome. Those are wonderful updates. Before I turn it over to the rest of the committee, I do have a couple of questions for you. One, since both of the systems are up with the Text Viper 911, when will the older one get cut off? And how will you all facilitate that?
It was cut off almost immediately. As soon as the data was copied over, it was cut off like the very next day.
Oh, awesome. Okay, and then my next question for you is the April 10th through the 16th. Would you like a proclamation from the county in regards to that?
Yes, I've actually already written it. I just have to load it up to Civic Plus.
Okay, so Director Perry is listening to you, so he'll be looking out for that.
Okay.
And Carbine, yes, we do have that on the agenda that's coming up. So we look forward to either you or whoever's presenting to see if the Board of Commissioners would re-up that contract for renewal. So thank you for that. And I'm so glad to hear that you are having an attendance policy. With a lot of people still working from home, I think sometimes the expectations get lost as to where and what and who's doing what.
Yes, ma'am.
So happy to hear that in your leadership training. So you came in with your skating wheels on, so you were putting things in order. So thank you, and again, we are so lucky to have you. So welcome. I will turn it over to the rest of the committee members if they have any questions for Ms. Harley.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Carthen, Chairman of the committee. Certainly had a question for you. And it's not really a question, it's a comment. I read the article about the E911, should I say the texting component. That's exciting. But I did see within the language of the press release, it says we still are encouraging the citizens to utilize the cell phone call. The telephone is the best approach. Can you expound on that a little more, Director Hartley?
I'm sorry, I went back on mute. Yes, ma'am. Yes, The preference will always be for someone to call 911. Calling actually just allows the operators to obtain more information with the call. And as things change, we know that situations in emergent situations change second to second. And so it just allows for there to be just a continual flow of information so that that information can be relayed to responding units. And so, yes, calling will always be the preference, but we also want to be able to provide our citizens with a way to reach 911 if they are in a situation where they can't.
Okay, thank you for the response. And again, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Thank
That's
you.
all I have, Chairman of the committee.
Is there anyone else?
I have one question, Director Harley. I know you are looking to do some networking with other instructors. Can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with other instructors throughout the region in terms of training your personnel or teaming up?
Yes. So, of course, I have many contacts throughout the metro region for E911, and we're actually, our training supervisor will actually be joining other training supervisors for E911 in the metropolitan area on March 11th. And she will have an opportunity to network and bring some things back to us because in 911, many of the 911 centers in the metro area have the same challenges, and sometimes people may do things a little bit better, a little bit faster, and so we are going to do that. And she actually had the opportunity today to meet the training commander at Fulton County 911, who actually served as the third member of our interview panel. And so they were able to network, exchange email addresses and phone numbers and other contact information. Also, we have a relationship with City of Atlanta as well. There are some courses that are required for E911 operators. And so with that partnership, we will be able to send our 911 operators closer to home as opposed to having to go to Forsyth, Georgia for that training. And also, well, the last thing is, as a post-certified instructor myself, it allows us to go in and other post-certified instructors to come here so that we can complete and conduct some of that in-service training so that our operators can actually receive credit for their training.
Thank you. Very impressive.
Thank you, Chief Gillette. Thank you, Ms. Harley, for that. That's excellent. We know that it takes a village, right? So if we don't have to repeat some of the things that other bigger cities, our E911 systems have gone through, we can just learn from them, and vice versa, they can learn from us. So glad to see that you're cross-collaborating. Thank you so much. We will turn now to our emergency management system, and that's our EMA director, Jason Mulholland. The floor is yours. Hi.
Good to see everybody. So one of the things we got this week, Madam Chair actually got the check. We got a reimbursement. We updated our hazard mitigation plan. It was we got a little bit of check. I think the plan total cost of the plan update was around $25,000 through our contractor that we work with make it Douglas counties on everything. But we got a reimbursed for a little over $19,000, I believe, out of that. So that's a pretty good savings. And somebody said, well, that's not that much money. But Madam Chair and I were like, that's $19,000 that the county did that goes back into the county. So we always look at that. Sometimes we overlook these smaller grants or things. To me, they're just important. They add up. To me, that's a significant, especially for my budget. That's a significant amount of money for EMA. The other, let's see, one of the other things we have coming up before Dawn left us and went over to her new position, we've been working together on a pre-position contract for debris removal and debris monitoring. This is so we've got she got most of the work done. We worked together. We got most of it done. We need to go back and tweak a little bit and take it back to the purchase committee. But I want to mention it here also. This is where if we have a catastrophic event that generates a lot of debris, we already know who we're going to call to help us. If it outstrips our ability for our DOT and landfill and other folks, that we'll have everything's bid out, so you can call them and you can go and get to work without waiting. A lot of communities get in trouble because they have an event that produces a lot of debris, and the public is ready for the roads to be open, and it just allows a quicker process. And if you don't do it right, you can be on the hook for the whole amount. If it's a declared disaster, you can get reimbursed, a significant bit of that money. So this is kind of an important. It's been a long process trying to get this ready to get it updated and renewed, but it's very important because most big disasters, your debris costs are running anywhere for a community our size can be $5, $6, $7 million. So it's important to have that, even though it take a while to get reimbursed for it. You want to get reimbursed, and you don't want any hiccups on that. So that's one of the things I've been trying to get ready to roll out, going back through all the hard work that Dawn did on it and work with me on it, get it to take it to the purchasing committee, get their sign off on it and look at it. And one other thing, I guess, that I was thinking that we really want to look at, one is when we get out of phase one again, is doing another CERT class. CERT is a community emergency response team training. That's where we bring members of our community in and give them training how to take care of themselves. Volunteer firemen, but there's jobs they could help with that. So that's an interest at the fire department too. So it'll be a collaborative effort between the fire department and EMA. And other than that, just some other training initiatives that we want to do to try to get caught up where we're not been able to do the things that we wanted to. So just playing catch up now.
Sounds good. So since I am the chairman of the procurement committee, I look forward to next month. Hopefully this can be put on the agenda. I'm assuming you're working with Ms. Ammons now to tidy up what it is that you need.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give. I've not officially met her, so I'm gonna have to get with her and show her where we were with it and see what she thinks, and tweak the word, because I knew there was a couple questions that Dawn and I both had on it. Of course, we want to make it right because it's got to be approved by FEMA after we do it. I don't want to have us approve it and send it up to FEMA and have to come back. I want it to be a one pass through it. So.
Got you. So for clarity, is this to have more than one company? Is it for?
Usually, you have a primary one. There's probably 5 or 6 bigger companies that respond to this, and they end up, a lot of them will hire local contractors too, but they can facilitate it. And the biggest thing is the FEMA documentation that is required, having that, make sure everything's done, and also sometimes people forget the monitoring. Sometimes in the past, even if we've used anybody else, we've done monitoring in the house. And you can do that, but depending on, but you want to have one backup. If it's sure enough, something similar to the floods,
right?
2000, that kind of debris, where you're dealing with that kind of debris, you may need help even with the monitoring. Of course, you can't hire the same company that's picking up the debris to monitor themselves. You want somebody else kind of checking on them. You also want to investigate the relationships they have between one another and make sure they don't have, this is my brother Daryl's monitoring company. He's going to watch us. So just going through that. But most of them, the bigger companies that do this, they have their reputation, and what I always get concerned about, or in the past about them, is if everybody's got the same companies, are they going to have?
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff that goes into, you don't want someone to overstretch, because not everybody promises the moon, but when it comes time to deliver, you don't want to get excuses. You want what they got going on. You want it handled. If you call them, and the good thing about it costs nothing until you call them. So it's bid. So it does. The only thing you're doing is having the bidding process already done. So when it happens, you're ready to roll and start picking up debris if you pull the trigger. But with these, you got to remember, this is expensive. This is expensive debris removal.
Right.
Like I said, you can get millions of dollars very quickly with debris pickup and removal and the monitoring. So it's just got to be right.
Understood. Thank you so much for that update. I'll open the floor for any other questions.
Okay, I have one, Chairman of the committee, just for Jason, regarding MSDS, material safety data sheets. I know we have probably chemicals throughout our county that's utilized in various areas.
Yeah.
Does the hospital have access to that in case we had someone we had to take to the hospital from the county? How is that information transferred or discussed if there's a need to have an MSDS?
We can pull up any of them on our software, the fire department, fire marshal's office, any hazardous materials producing or storage facility in the county has to register everything they have with a software called ePlan. They upload their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Our fire department has access, especially our fire marshals is the most user of it because they do a lot with the free fire plans and things like that. And also EMA, we can log in. And so if there's a situation at any of these facilities, we can pull up, we can see what they got, how much they got in the facilities. And it's a federal requirement for them to participate. So we will have direct access to pull it up, and we can, the biggest one is making sure our first responders going in know what's in there and know what they'll be dealing with. That's one of the initiatives our fire chief has put in with these free fire plans is go, but they've always been done, but it's getting more and more. The more you do, the better information you have. So that does that answer your question?
Yes,
But they have to file that what is called ePlan.
Yes,
they have to put anything they have in there, and it's in the system.
Okay, and then my last question for you is related to drills. You know, we had an active shooter drill. I believe in 2019 it was very successful, but then the pandemic hit and we kind of slowed down a little bit. What do you envision coming up before us next?
We did our tabletop, and we're going to build
the tabletops.
We did a tabletop. End of last year, I can't remember now. Time runs together. On our natural gas. Because we have multiple pipelines to the community. Not only natural gas pipelines, we have fuel pipelines and other things. But the training on it kind of crosses over. And of course, the material acts differently in an event. But bringing the partners together and seeing how they work together. I think we want to build out on that. Austell Gas is still interested in doing a full scale along with one of the bigger pipelines, and also our Atlanta Gas Light partners. So I think we're going to build out on that. And I'm sure the law enforcement partners, if they were here, I think they always like they need it, and it's important, is doing the active shooter drills. And we also will probably need to bring in, since we had this, our new school police department, bringing them in any active shooter drills, especially at schools, and seeing how all those partners will work together.
Okay. And then that natural, I know we had one active shooter that was successful, and I know we're planning on more. But the natural gas, that's a good one because that impacts so many. It's so has a wide range of opportunity to cause some destruction. So that means that the citizens would be able to be engaged in this one as well, so they can understand what needs to be done in case of a natural gas leak or something of that sort. I believe we've had one earlier this year, or can you?
It was the table. I think it was into last year. I think it was towards the end of last year. I don't think I may be wrong. I think it was into last year, but we're going to build on it. We're going to build on what we did, with my disaster stuff and training, working with GEMA, their federal year runs on the June to June. So the report. So when I talk about those, I had to think back, and so we on our calendar year, if we're on the state year, which is the fiscal year runs different, and our reporting to them on what we've done runs on that schedule.
Okay, thank you. And then I believe, Fire Chief, this is just a question to you. If you could bring the chairman of the committee up to what you have certainly led with your with Deputy Chief Allen on the hazmat materials that come through the county via train, the railway, and it just explained what has happened within the last 2 months. And I think it'd be good music to her ear and also to the citizens' ears. So if you could share what's been done.
he is actually next, Madam Chair, so we'll let
Okay, wait, just hold your thought and bring it before us. I don't have anything else, Chairman of the committee.
All right, thank you so much. Director Mulholland, I do have one question for you, and that was regarding the sirens that we had a testing not too long ago. And it seems as though a lot of people could not hear the sirens, or they couldn't hear the I guess it was the voice and
there's two different siren systems in the county. One is on and operate, well, on basically. We help them set them off. The city has their own sirens, and they have voice capability.
They have voice capability.
The ones in the county do not. My personal choice is not to have the voice because nobody can hear them, and I don't want them outside trying to hear what a siren says. That's but like I say, but the sirens in the city of Douglasville do have a voice capability, and if you're not outside where you can hear them, you're not going to hear them inside. And always remember, sirens are for outdoor warning. They're not made for indoor warning. If you're inside, you need a weather radio to be alerted, or your app on your phone. The weather sirens were never meant for indoor warnings. They're an outdoor warning device. That's why I personally do not care for the voice capabilities on sirens.
I'm so glad you cleared that up, because it happened around 6 or 6:30 in the morning.
Yes, that was the city was doing their test. The reception was doing the test because and during a tornado warning, the sirens are automatically activated based on a polygon where the tornado warning is. So meaning that if there was a tornado in Lithia Springs and you were in Fairplay, your sirens would not go off because you're not in the warned area. All the sirens in the warned area go off. But you have to test these systems. But we do a silent test every day at the 911 staff silent test here at the 911 center every morning. And the city, as a backup, there was something wrong here, they could not work. The city has a way to activate their sirens from the police department reception desk in case they could not, and they silent test every day. Issue the other day was that there was an accidental live test instead of a silent test. That's why they went off at 6 a.m. And there's just a mistake, and they've addressed that issue. And I think they put something on their social media.
And I just wanted us to have a chance for those who didn't get what the city was doing, because I didn't, to address that. And I'm so glad you cleared that up. Thank you so much for that.
No problem.
And are there any other questions for Director Mulholland?
I have just one, Roger. Director Mulholland, tell us the exciting news of how emergency planner will help your department, how it will help the county in terms of planning and dealing with exercising the plan, whatever have you.
Yes, sir. We have Ms. Carol Smith retired on December 31st, and we decided we would want to transition that position from administrative assistant or secretary position into a specialist position. So we have a lot of plans, but they're hard to keep maintained. There's people changing in different departments on a regular basis, and trying to keep the plans and everything updated. One person, I have such a huge department. I have myself and previously a secretary, so it's a lot to keep up with. And before you know it, a year's gone by, and so the plans haven't been touched. And so that person's been gone for this long amount of time. So someone needs to constantly be going through those plans, keeping information and facilities. We build a new facility. If it's not in there, anybody has, and reaching out to a lot of the departments in the county have what we call continuity of operations plans. And it's their plan, but we also want to reach out to them, make sure they're keeping their plans up to date too, and help them, because if they're not touching the software on a regular basis, if their people have changed, they're going to have somebody reach out to those, and also work on these and keep our disaster exercise plan on moving on. There'll be plenty for this person to do, because I know there's plenty I can't get to, and so I'm hoping this position will help us get even better. There's always will be need for improvement, and that's what we're hoping on for this position to get us closer. We'll never be perfect, but we're always going to strive to be perfect.
Thank you for that, Director Mulholland. So have you put that request in with Deputy Administrator or Chairman Jones, are you all aware of that request and how we can facilitate that for Director Milholland?
I was not aware of the request, but we can certainly talk about that, Director Neil Holland. Can you all hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
I got it to Ms. Bowles, and she's got it, and I think she's going to send it to you for a signature. Explain we had to go through and explain how the funding was going to be. It'll be budget neutral. Because we start position sometime in March with the salary difference between the previous position and this. Next year it'll be an impact on but we'll be able to put that in for the full amount next year. But this year it'll be budget neutral for position. Right. So I don't think it's Ms. Bowles was trying to get the one final signature, I believe, on it.
Okay. Well, we'll have to ask her about that. And you mentioned the continuity of operation plan. Jason, I was going to ask you about that. I couldn't remember the name of it, but how often does that come around? I know we have a full process. All of the directors come to the 911 center and they talk about, I believe it was a contractor that came in and kind of helped us navigate. Yeah. How often is that done?
Well, both plans. I was going to do it last year. I had put away a little bit of money to bring them in to help everybody bring them the plans. The idea is about every 6 months to a year, you should that who's ever responsible for the plan of that department should go back through and make the updates to that plan. The previous county administrator, when I requested to bring Bo back in, she wanted to hold off on it, and so when there's funding again, I would like to do that. We can always have people right now try to get their plans updated. Mm-hmm. It kind of works better when everybody kind of works together as a team on those meetings, as you saw when we built our plans. But to me, that works better, and that's why I kind of wanted last year to do that. It just didn't get worked out.
Okay. It's the only question I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Director Perry. And to that point, Director Milholland, and then I'm gonna let you off the hot seat. The business continuity and the disaster recovery plan; those are things that y'all work in conjunction with. I know that that does have its place, especially with us regarding insurance. If we don't, then we could get dinged on it. And so, please follow up with that because I don't want us to be downgraded. That it's really important. So,
we work real closely with Mr. Worthing, with Matt Laverne and Mr. Worthing, because one's an insurance issue, one's our some of our community ratings, the TRS. So James and I, when those come up, we work very closely together because it's important to both of us. And so he's familiar with what I need, and I'm also familiar with his. So we keep that going. Neither people want to get called out on that, so we work together on that pretty well.
Excellent. It jogged my memory when Director.
It's important. That mitigation plan we just had. The biggest plan we have that's most important is that mitigation plan. It determines what projects you're going to do, if you get funding and stuff like that, and that's why it's so important, that CRS plan.
Thank you so much for that. So now we will turn it over to you, Fire Chief Joe Levette. Take it away.
Thank you. Mr. Carthon, Madam Carthon. I just have three things I want to bring up. One is dealing with the hazmat as part of our operations. They have a commodity flow study, and this study is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And what it addresses is the type of hazmat materials coming through the community, the routes, and also the amounts. So what we're doing, we're tightening up our training on our hazmat team, response team. We're reevaluating our commitment, looking at our materials, equipment, and we're going to be able to do more than we've done in the past in terms of responding to hazmat material. So we got the awareness level, the operations level, and technicians, and a lot of people that we're hiring now, they have technician training, so it's going to enhance our hazmat team. And like I said, we're networking with the rail companies, the tap into their resources to make sure we're working together. Most of the time, the rail companies provide their own mitigation plan and everything, but we kind of work with them to make sure we keep the community safe. And I like the acronym of SWIM: stop, warn, isolate, and minimize exposure to hazardous materials. So we're up on it. We're working hard on it, and we want to make sure we keep our citizens safe as well as our responders. The other thing I want to talk about is, y'all have any questions on the rail? On the rail?
Give me that acronym one more time. You said stop.
Yes, SWIM: stop, warn, isolate, and minimize. And basically, if you do that part, you could save hundreds and thousands of lives. And because we use our partners like police, law enforcement, the CERT team, like Jason was saying, and we could prevent a lot of things from happening for us, keep people out the hazard area, the hot zone, so to speak.
Thank you for that.
All right. We're looking at admin, facility, and operations. And admin at the at our fire department, we have updated our payroll system. We've updated our inventory system. We're able to track Band-Aids. We all the way down to Band-Aids when it comes to medical. So we know what we're doing in terms of that. And Ms. Paula Austin is on the line. She's gonna talk a little bit about the payroll system. What we try to do is make sure everybody was cross-trained, because we lost a couple of key people, and we had to catch up with the training and keep everything flowing. So Ms. Paula is going to just mention a few things about our admin team and how they have stepped up and making everything efficient. Ms. Paula.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yes, we had lost a couple of key folks that were inputting our payroll. The fire department payroll is very intricate, to say the least. The person that took Courtney's job, Melissa, has came up with an idea to have the payroll automated. And in automating the payroll, it's made our jobs easier, whereas we don't have to deal with a lot of paper. It's real time. The hours can be accessed from anywhere on via a computer, via Google SharePoint, and we're really happy with the result. She sat down and worked with Lieutenant Farmer to get this automation in process, and we've been using it now for 3 pay periods now, and it's worked really well. It's very efficient, and people are getting used to it, and they're liking it. That's one of our automation amenities to the payroll. We had to hit the ground running to learn it, but each payroll cycle, we're getting better and better. There's less mistakes in entering the payroll. Like I said, it's a very intricate system because we pay FLSA hours, we pay overtime hours, and every pay card is different compared to the 56-hour employee as opposed to the 40-hour employee. So it's worked out really well. We're really proud of ourselves, and amongst the 4 of us, we're all cross-trained. So we're not going to be in that position again where if we lose 1 or 2 people at the same time or what have you, that we're in a difficult position in which no one knows how to enter the payroll, because as we know, everyone needs to be paid. So that was initiative that Fire Chief Delavat wanted us to achieve, is for all of us to be cross-trained, and now we are. And we're happy about it, thank goodness. So it's worked out well.
Thank you.
We've also automated, as he said, our EMS supplies down to Band-Aids. That's something that's good. We have an accountability system for that, in which not only the EMS supplies, but our janitorial supplies too. We will, now we put in a project proposal in which we can track the items that are being ordered and get a specific number, a dollar value, and an approval. And that goes into an accounting system, or maybe a database it is. And in that way, we're able to track what we're bringing in and what is outgoing. So we're doing great things with our automation here at the fire department. It's only made our jobs better, and I'm sure they're going to get even more better, you know, if that's a word. But it's been great. It's not been stressful.
Thank you, Ms. Paula. Any questions, Ms. Paula? So we're just trying to make sure that we maintain the efficiency,
Yes.
make sure we have transparency with what we're doing. In terms of facilities, what we're doing there is we're inspecting all of our facilities from top to bottom, and we're making sure that things that are not safe, we get rid of them, remove them. We also have MSDS sheets, and also have flammable cabinets in every station now. So we're able to store our flammables and keep up with our chemicals. And that MSDS, it helps us if anybody get exposed to something, it tell you how to mitigate and how to deal with them. So facilities are going great, and we're making sure we inventory and measure what we have and use them wisely. In terms of operations, operations are going well. We're doing recruitment and retention, and that's really. We hired 2 paramedics on a Monday. We have 2 more paramedics going to start in a couple of weeks, and then we have 3 or 4 paramedics that are we're going to be interviewing and trying to bring them on board with us so we can help take care of our citizens. So we're excited about that, and I always like to thank the Board of Commissioners for their support and what they do. It's making a difference. It's a game changer, and it's going to directly help operations as we provide service to our citizens. Last year, we ran 21,000 calls. That was the history of Douglas County, and we anticipate being ready for whatever come our way this year. So we're taking care of ISO, taking care of our training. But the main thing, we have changed our mission and our values and our strategic goals. We adjusted them to deal with the coming out of the pandemic, and we've incorporated love. Love is a thing that deals with leadership, opportunity. In opportunity, we are focusing on diversity and inclusion, and our numbers have gone up. Our department actually reflects the community we serve, and we're happy about that. And of course, that's initiatives that we have from our commissioners that we be inclusive and be diversified. And the other thing is education. We have stepped our level up on education. We're encouraging our members to get seek higher education, and we also have succession planning going on to help them develop and be able to provide great service to the community. So we went from being ordinary to extraordinary, and it's a game changer for us, and we're excited. And I'm gonna stop there because I don't want to keep spreading this good news. But just thank everybody for the support and leadership.
Thank you, Chief Joseph, for the update. The admin facility operations job well done, and I'm so glad that you did heed the call, because that was one of my I think one of my challenges for you was to make sure that, you know, if I voted for you, that you was going to come in and diversify our firehouse, our fire department, and you took that seriously. So kudos to you, and thank you for listening. And it makes all the difference in the world. When we serve people, the people that we serve should be able to see themselves in us. And so if we just have all of one, then that's cool, but where's the love in that, like you said? So kudos to you. I see the diversity each and every time that I come by. I drop by any function that you have going on. You make sure that that value is stated. And I believe the citizens, and I know my citizens in District 3 are very happy for that. You just do not know how many compliments the fire team and the EMS team have received, and you have came in and you've done a great job. So I'm so pleased that we decided to hire you. It was the best decision I think this Board of Commissioners has made in a long time. One question for you, Ms. Austin. You said with the supplies and the inventory tracking,
Yes.
does it also help you all to forecast?
Yes, it does. That was the main purpose of it, because Fire Chief Jolivet would like to get us on a trajectory in which we can project into the upcoming quarters.
Right.
For the year, so that we're not last minute in spending, last minute in acquiring those materials that we need. It's working out really well. It really is.
Well, you will learn about me. It's all about the dollars and cents. So the reason I asked you that was for that reason exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
If you can forecast and you can project into what your spend will be, so that at the end of the year, when you're coming before the Board of Commissioners, or when Chief Jolivet comes before the Board of Commissioners, he already has a pretty good number as to what he needs in his budget. So thank you. Yeah. I don't have any further questions. I'll open the floor for questions for Chief Jolivet.
Chief, I have several questions for you. Flammable cabinets, I heard you mention those. Are they in all the firehouses as well, all fire stations, or just in your inventory area? Those flammable cabinets.
We are installing them in every fire station.
Very good.
It's really working out well.
Okay. Yeah, those are they still the tall yellow cabinets that almost look like lockers? They still okay.
Yes.
That's what we use in healthcare. All right, and the next thing, AED in all buildings, all our county buildings. I know we were working on that project. How are we coming with that?
We're coming well with them. We're looking at our AEDs now to make sure that they're all in shelf life and in date. But also we have one that we're looking at, and I was waiting on Katrina Harley, the E911 director. We're going to need to make sure we have one over at the backup 911 system in that building, because I say with the coroner in there and everything, we're working on trying to make sure we have one up in there and operating properly. So I'll be speaking with Miss Harley after this meeting to talk about that.
Okay. And then my final question is related to evacuation plans for all county buildings. I know we were working on that too, Chief. I know we have an opportunity at the animal services. So is that something that your fire inspectors would do? Or can you speak to that? Or?
Yes, I can. In the International Fire Codes, there's a section on there for emergency disaster plan training, and that's one of our initiatives is to get out to especially assembly buildings and make sure they can get out and they have a plan. And then we're going to use our engine companies, like Jason Nelholm was saying. We'll use them for pre-planning to go in and educate our public when we do our pre-planning inspection. We have a checklist that we're using to educate the small business owners as well as the larger occupancy types. So, but we're focusing mainly on the assemblies, and then our engine companies, when they go around and do the pre-fire planning, they're training our local businesses. So everybody's getting there.
Are those plans visible in those local businesses?
In the assembly and in the governmental buildings, they have those charts up. In the private owned businesses, we're asking them to put some up as well. But that's not necessarily mandatory, but we ask them to put some of those things up for not only it's three things we worry about. We worry about the people that work there, worry about the responders, and then also the customers. So we try to drive that point home when we're doing our pre-fire plans.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you so much. I yield back to you, Chairman of the committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mhm.
If there is no further business to come before us, again, we don't have, Director Mulholland, yes.
Yes, I did want to mention that today, 17 years ago, Deputy Blake Gamble was shot and killed in this county serving our community. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that and ask everyone to remember his sacrifice that he did for this community. He was a good friend, good co-worker, and it's been day of remembrance, and this day is always difficult every week. And just remember his family and his co-workers over at the Sheriff's Office today, 17 years later, please.
Thank you for
Jason, thank you for that.
yeah, thank
It's a
you for
great
reminding that.
reminder.
Yes.
Yeah, and if we could just take 30 seconds to bow our heads and just say a quick prayer for Deputy Blake. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
We oftentimes, forget the sacrifices that, people like Blake Gamble and others have had to endure so that we can have safety. So that's one of the reasons why we really wanted to get this committee back on track. We want the community to know what you guys are doing. We committed to paying you guys more, and we hope that as we continue to move forward as a Board of Commissioners, that we support your efforts so that the community understands, that no matter what, we're all in this together. So safety's first, the safety of you all and the safety of your family. So thank you for that, Jason. Is there any further discussions? I would like to add, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on this. There is one other public safety that we do not have on the board, and that is the Coroner's Office. And I don't know if it was an oversight on my part or if they had been involved before. And so if it's okay with you all, our next meeting on May 19th, I would like to incorporate the Coroner's Office so that they can also they are a part of public safety, but just so that the citizens can understand where they fall in line in public safety and start working with them on a consistent basis. Is that okay with everyone?
Okay.
Chairman, I think that's a wonderful idea.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Great. All right. Well, if there's no further discussion, the meeting is adjourned, and I will see you guys on May 19th at the podium. Thank you.
All right.